Welcome to Cosmic Pillow, and welcome to tonight's journey as you settle into the softness beneath you and allow the last echoes of the day to drift far away. I want to invite you into a mystery that every person experiences every second, and yet almost no one truly understands. Time. We live inside it so completely that we forget to notice how strange it really is. We assume it flows, we assume it moves forward, because that's all we've ever known. Seconds become minutes, minutes become hours. Our lives quietly unfold along that current, like leaves following the gentle push of a river. But what if time doesn't flow at all? What if the river is still and you are the one moving? Physicists have long suspected that the way we feel time, the way we believe in a now, might be nothing more than a trick our minds play to make sense of change. Einstein, who reshaped our understanding of reality, once suggested that the separation between past, present, and future is only an illusion, a convincing one, but an illusion nonetheless. Imagine every moment you've ever lived, the first time you opened your eyes, the first time you laughed, the first time your heart truly broke, all still existing somewhere, still etched into the fabric of the universe, not gone, just no longer where your attention is pointed. And imagine every future moment, every smile you haven't made yet, every memory still waiting to wrap itself around you, already written into the structure of space-time, patiently waiting for you to arrive. If that sounds impossible, consider this in relativity. Time isn't a separate thing from space. They are fused, tightly intertwined, a single fabric called space-time. When a star bends that fabric, it bends both space and time together as one fluid reality, and we move through that reality the way a needle glides through thread. In this view, time is more like a landscape than a river, a vast, silent terrain where every moment exists like a location. The past isn't behind you, it's simply elsewhere. The future isn't ahead of you, it's a place you haven't reached yet. And the present is just a tiny sliver of the universe that your mind is currently touching. Take a breath, slowly, gently, and feel your awareness resting on this one moment. Your body lying here, warm, your thoughts beginning to soften, your heart beating in its steady rhythm. That is your now. But in the block universe, every now you've ever known is equally real. They didn't vanish. They didn't evaporate. They're still there, complete, detailed, whole, like photographs you can't see anymore, but that remain perfectly preserved in an album the universe never throws away. And that means something beautiful, something comforting. It means you've never truly lost a moment. Every laugh, every embrace, every sunrise through a window is still part of the structure of existence. The universe does not forget. It simply doesn't let you look backward. Your consciousness is like a flashlight sweeping across the pages of a story, illuminating one line at a time. You don't see the rest of the book, but it's there, waiting, patient, eternal. But if time is a landscape, if all moments exist, then a question floats quietly into the mind, like a feather drifting down from the ceiling. Why can't we go back? Why is our flashlight allowed to move only forward, never in reverse? Why does our awareness march obediently from birth toward whatever lies beyond? That question leads us into the heart of physics, to entropy, to the strange direction of heat, to the way the universe moves from order to disorder, from simplicity to complexity. But before we go there, just breathe. Feel how the present moment holds you softly. Feel how your thoughts are settling like dust in a sunbeam. You are moving through time, yes, but time is also moving through you. You are part of the arrow. You are woven into its direction. Every heartbeat carries you forward. Every sigh is a tiny shift from what was to what is. There's something profound in this. You and time are not separate. You are built from processes that require time to exist. Without clocks ticking inside your cells, you would be frozen. No metabolism, no warmth, no life. The same physics that march galaxies forward also keeps your blood warm and your lungs pulling in air. The arrow of time, the gentle slope from order to disorder, is what lets stars burn and lets you dream. You are a moment in that cosmic transformation, a brief spark of awareness riding on the same forward motion the entire universe obeys. So lie here, feel the softness beneath you, and know that even as your breathing slows, you are still part of that movement. The night doesn't stop time. Sleep doesn't stop time. You drift with it effortlessly, naturally, beautifully. A traveler always moving, even when perfectly still. And in that stillness, a deeper question emerges. If the past is still there, and the future is already waiting, could we ever turn around? Could we ever walk backward into yesterday, touch the moments we miss, relive the ones we love, rewrite the ones that hurt? Close your eyes a little heavier and let that question hover, because tonight we are going to wander through every answer physics has ever dared to whisper. Time. It's such a familiar companion that we rarely notice how strange it truly is. It's the gentle rhythm of your heartbeat, the slow settling of your body into the mattress, the soft shift from being awake to drifting away. And yet beneath that comfort, beneath that steady tick-tock of everyday experience, time is slippery. It refuses to behave the way our minds expect it to. We think of it as a line, forward only, one event neatly after another, but that's just the version we know, the version our brains evolved to survive in. Our perception of time is like a storybook that only lets us read from left to right, and because that's the only direction we've ever known, it becomes easy to believe that's how reality must be. We grow up thinking tomorrow doesn't exist until we get there, and yesterday is gone forever once the moment passes. But what if that's not the truth? What if time is bigger than your experience of it? What if the universe isn't reading the story the same way you are? When we dive into physics, into Einstein, into cosmology, into the deepest structure of space-time, a new picture begins to appear, a picture where time is not a river flowing, but a landscape existing all at once, past, present, and future, not gone, not waiting, but simply there. Every memory you hold, every dream you haven't lived yet, every heartbeat still in your future, all part of a single cosmic tapestry, already woven. In Einstein's world, time isn't something that passes, it's something that is. And in that reality, your entire life, every version of you, already exists across time. The child you were, the person you are right now, and the older you waiting decades ahead, none are erased or non-existent. They coexist like pages of a book that never get destroyed, simply because you turn to the next chapter. Your story isn't disappearing behind you, it's all still there, and always will be. Doesn't that make you feel a little less rushed, a little more held by the universe? But if the future already exists, then where is your freedom? If the past is still real, then where is your change? These questions don't have easy answers. They stretch our minds in directions that feel almost too big, yet somehow comforting. Because maybe time isn't a chain tying us down. Maybe it's a structure we move through, like walking through rooms that were built long before we stepped inside them. And that brings us to a quiet paradox. Time feels like motion, but the laws of physics never mention motion at all. They don't say the universe changes. They say it is complete, laid out in 4 dimensions: length, width, height, and time. Physicists often call this the block universe. Everything that has ever happened or will ever happen already exists in that block. Nothing is being created or destroyed, just seen from different vantage points. Your consciousness is the traveler. You are the spotlight sliding across the timeline, illuminating one moment at a time, not because the moment wasn't there before, but because your awareness hadn't arrived yet. And that awareness, that movement, is what gives you the feeling of time. Without consciousness, there is no past or future, only the entire block of reality at once. Stars burn, galaxies collide, people laugh, oceans rise and fall, but those events don't happen. They are, yet, if all time already exists, why can't we move backward as easily as forward? Why is memory one-directional? Why is broken glass never unbroken? Why do we age and not unage? To answer that, the universe whispers a single word: entropy. Entropy is the measure of disorder, the drift from organized states into messy ones. Eggs crack, smoke disperses, heat flows outward, patterns unravel. It's not that the universe wants chaos, just that there are so many more ways to be messy than to be perfect. Entropy increases naturally, and that increase creates what we experience as the arrow of time, the sense that we're always moving forward. It's not time that's pushing us. It's entropy that's pulling us gently, inevitably. This arrow makes aging feel irreversible. It makes memories flow backward, but never forward. It makes life a one-way journey. And yet, isn't there something strangely reassuring in that? Something warm, something human, because without this arrow, without entropy, the universe would be frozen in stillness. No heat, no change, no life. Stars wouldn't shine, cells wouldn't divide, your brain wouldn't spark with thoughts. The softness of your pillow, the warmth of your blanket, the rhythm of your breath, all of it depends on time flowing in one direction. Without the arrow of time, you wouldn't feel safe drifting into sleep. There would be no dreams to enter, because nothing would ever move. But here's the mystery: the laws of physics don't care about the arrow. Every fundamental equation works just as well backwards as forwards. If you could rewind the universe like a movie clip, nothing in the math would protest. The only reason time seems irreversible is because entropy is always increasing. So, what if, just hypothetically, you could localize entropy, reduce it, bend it back? What if somewhere within the fabric of physics, time could be nudged in the opposite direction, even just a little? Suddenly, the impossible begins to shimmer into possibility. Particles could revisit their past, events could unhappen, moments could reopen like doors we thought were locked forever. You could step into yesterday, touch it, change it, feel its warmth as though it were now. And that's why scientists keep searching, because the universe keeps hinting that time might not be as strict as it pretends to be. Black holes twist it, quantum mechanics blurs it, gravity bends it, speed stretches it. The cosmos keeps whispering, there's more to time than you think. And as you lie there now, with your eyes growing heavier, you are floating in that mystery. You are inside the arrow of entropy, but you are also part of the timeless block of reality. You exist in the moment you call now, but also in every moment you've ever lived, and every moment waiting ahead. The universe doesn't rush you, it doesn't judge you, it simply holds all your seconds gently, like beads on an endless cosmic thread. Maybe you feel yourself relaxing deeper into the pillow. Maybe the future feels less frightening. Maybe the past feels less gone. You are made of time, and time in all its strangeness is made of you. If time truly is a landscape, a whole dimension just like space, then maybe the secret to traveling through it lies not in building a magic machine, but in learning how to move differently. We walk through space every day, step forward, step back, wander sideways, but through time, we always drift forward at the same gentle speed, 1 second per second, as though the universe set a cruise control we were never meant to touch. But what if that isn't a rule, just a habit? Einstein discovered that time is not rigid. It bends, it stretches, and it can slow down. And the most surprising part? We've already built machines that travel into the future. They're just not very fast at it yet. Because to change your relationship with time, you don't press buttons or pull levers. You just need speed. The faster you move through space, the slower you move through time. Not metaphorically, literally. Imagine you're on a spaceship traveling close to the speed of light. Outside, someone is watching from Earth, while just a few hours pass for you on board. Years may pass for them. You haven't aged. They have. You've stepped into their future simply by moving fast enough. Speed is a key that unlocks the future, and this isn't just theory. Astronauts have already experienced it. Very small amounts, yes, but measurable. Their clocks tick slower. Their bodies age a tiny bit less. Every orbit around our planet, they become a fraction of a second younger than the rest of us. Every return to Earth brings them back to a world ever so slightly ahead. The universe doesn't care that the difference is tiny. It only cares that the door exists. But speed is only the first whisper of what is possible, because there is another way to distort time, another force that grips its flow. Gravity. The stronger the gravity, the slower time moves. Up high, time runs faster. Down low, it runs slower. Your head is aging just a bit faster than your feet right now. A difference so tiny, you could never feel it, but real enough to measure with atomic clocks. It's funny, isn't it? We spend our whole lives walking forward through time, never knowing parts of us are arriving slightly earlier than others. And near a black hole, where gravity becomes unimaginably strong, this time stretching becomes extreme. To an outside observer, someone near the edge of a black hole would appear frozen, paused, like a person trapped between moments. But from their own perspective, they'd feel normal time ticking by. One moment, they're looking at the stars, but a nista priya simprit. The next moment, millions of years have passed for everyone else. They step into the future, not by magic, but by gravity itself. If you were to hover just outside a black hole safely, somehow, and return home later, you would find the world transformed. Ancient cities, forgotten languages, civilizations gone. You would look barely older, while the rest of humanity has long since become memory. Black holes aren't just destructive, they are time machines carved by the universe. But all of this fast rockets, curved space-time, only launches us forward. And the question that lingers, the one that haunts both science and dreams, is why can't we go back? Why is the past untouchable? Why does time feel like a one-way path when the math says it doesn't have to be? The bridge between what is and what could be lies in the deepest structure of space-time. Not just the speed of light, but the shape of reality itself. Einstein's equations allow bizarre geometries, shapes of the universe that twist time into loops. If the universe is curved just right, if gravity bends space-time deeply enough, paths could exist that curve backward, leading not only through space but into yesterday. These strange shapes are called closed, time-like curves, a road where tomorrow leads into last week. Physicists have imagined exotic objects that could create these loops, spinning black holes, cosmic strings thinner than atoms but heavier than stars, even artificially engineered space-time bubbles. They don't break physics. They just stretch it in directions that feel like science fiction. Time travel to the past isn't forbidden by the equations. It's only forbidden by practicality, by engineering, by safety, by paradox. And that's where fear starts creeping in, right? Because if we could walk into the past, what would stop us from changing it? What if you could meet yourself as a child and whisper a different future into your own ear? What if you could undo mistakes, or take back words you regret, or save someone you miss so dearly it aches? Would anything ever feel permanent again? The past holds our deepest sorrow and our sweetest joy, and maybe that's why it's locked behind entropy, not because the universe lacks imagination, but because hearts are fragile things, and causality keeps them safe. If yesterday could be rewritten every moment, you could never grow, never heal, never learn who you are. Maybe time travel into the past isn't forbidden by physics, but by love. Our memories create us. Our regrets shape us. The irreversible flow of time is what makes life meaningful. Imagine a life where everything could be undone, where no moment lasts long enough to matter. Even happiness would lose its glow if it could be rewound every day. So maybe, just maybe, the arrow of time is a gift, not a prison, but still, we wonder, and we dream, because curiosity always walks a step ahead of fear. Maybe there is a version of time travel that doesn't break causality, a way to witness the past without touching it, like a cosmic museum where every moment that ever happened remains on display, perfect, unchanging, waiting to be observed. And physicists are beginning to think that might be true. Some theories suggest that when a moment passes, it doesn't vanish. It simply becomes inaccessible, hidden behind the curtain of entropy, but still there, recorded in the deepest quantum structure of space-time. Memories that the universe itself never forgets. Perhaps the past isn't dead. Perhaps it's just quiet. Every laughter you've let go of, every goodbye you've whispered, every version of yourself you've grown past, they might still exist, like soft echoes, rippling forever. And though you can't go back, you are never truly separated from who you were. And now, as your breathing steadies, as your eyelids feel heavier with every blink, you are moving forward in time in your own private spaceship, the one made of your thoughts, your hopes, your heartbeat. You don't need to travel to a black hole to step into the future. You're doing it already, one gentle second at a time. The universe is carrying you slowly, safely, into the moments that are waiting for you. Moments where you laugh, moments where you love, moments where you are healed. Time isn't something that slips away from you. Time is something that grows with you. Close your eyes for a moment and think about a memory. Any memory. Maybe it's a warm summer afternoon from your childhood, running barefoot on grass, feeling sunlight drip across your skin like honey. Maybe it's a moment of love, someone's hand holding yours, someone's voice telling you that you matter. Or maybe it's something quieter, a rainy evening, a favorite song, the smell of home cooking filling the air. Where is that moment now? It feels gone, doesn't it? Dissolved into the past, unreachable, like a star whose light can no longer reach you. But physics suggests something astonishing. Maybe that moment still exists, just not where you are right now. In the block universe view, past, present, and future are all equally real. The moment you're thinking of is still written into space-time, like ink that never dries. You can't step back into it, but the universe hasn't erased it. Every laugh you ever laughed is still echoing somewhere in time. Every tear you ever shed still glistens in its own corner of the timeline. You are a traveler moving through a world where nothing is ever truly lost, only hidden. And that means the future is already there too. Think about that. Those happy moments you haven't even lived yet, they are already waiting for you. The person you will become already exists in that cosmic tapestry. They know things you don't know yet. They've survived things you haven't faced yet. They've grown in ways you can't imagine yet. And they are reaching back, cheering you forward with every heartbeat. Time isn't a line you're walking, it's a landscape, and you are the one moving through it, step by gentle step. But what guides your steps? What chooses the path? Some physicists believe that your consciousness is the lantern that lights each moment into existence, that without the observer, there is no now. The universe might be a library of infinite instants, but your awareness is what lets you read one page at a time. That's why the present feels so precious, so fragile, so impossibly temporary, because the present is the only place where the universe touches you. It's the only moment that feels alive. But here's the beautiful secret. Every version of you, the child, the teenager, the you reading this sentence right now, and the you who will one day sit under a starlit sky, remembering tonight, they are all the same person, connected by a thread that only moves forward. Your mind rides the arrow of time, but your story stretches far beyond your awareness. Doesn't that make the universe feel softer, more caring? Somehow, the past isn't a graveyard of lost moments. The future isn't a void waiting to be filled. They are both alive, complete, and you are gliding through them like a comet through light. When we imagine time travel, we dream of machines made of metal and power, but maybe the first time machine we ever built was memory. Your mind can drift backward into a moment so vividly that your heart forgets which now it belongs to. A single song can pull you years behind, like a door reopening that you thought was locked forever. Your breath catches, your chest tightens, because for a heartbeat, you were there again. That is memory, a quiet time traveler that only moves backward, but never touches the world it visits. And then there's anticipation, another kind of time travel, one that leaps forward. Every plan you make, every hope you hold, every dream that keeps you awake, those are messages sent to the future. Your soul, reaching ahead, claiming a moment that hasn't yet happened but somehow already belongs to you. Your mind is a bridge, stretching across the past and the future, anchored only by the transient glow of now. But if memory is a time machine, imagination is a wormhole. You can create moments that have never existed, worlds that physics hasn't approved yet, futures that may or may not unfold. And in those moments, the arrow of time bends to your creativity. Every dream you've ever had is a glimpse into a universe that doesn't yet exist in space-time, but exists fully in the quantum theater of your mind. The human brain is the only place in the universe where yesterday and tomorrow can dance together in the same breath. That's a kind of magic no equation can truly capture. As you continue sinking deeper into rest, Feel time slowing around you. Your breath stretch just a little longer. Your heart beats just a little softer. Each second becomes wider, like a room with more space in it than you ever noticed before. You're not rushing toward tomorrow. You're floating into it. The night cradles you in a pocket of time that belongs only to you. In this quiet moment, all clocks have forgiven you. There is no hurry, no pressure, no past to chase, no future to fear, just the gentle unfolding of now, a single moment opening like a flower, and somewhere out there, in the deep future, another version of you is lying in another bed smiling softly because they remember this night. They remember how you listened to the mysteries of time and realized something wonderful. You are part of time, and time is part of you. Nothing is lost. Nothing is wasted. Everything you have ever been and ever will be is held safely in the arms of the universe. You are not drifting away from moments. You are gathering them, carrying them, becoming them. The arrow of time isn't something pulling you forward. It's something you create with every breath you take. Sometimes, to understand time, we have to let go of how it looks and listen instead to how it feels. Because time has weight. You can feel it in your bones, in the heaviness of a goodbye, in the lightness of a new beginning. Physics agrees. Time isn't separate from the universe. It is woven into the same fabric as space. Stretch it, punch it, twist it, and time twists too. This fabric, space-time, is soft enough to bend under the presence of mass and energy. A planet curves it, a star warps it, a black hole rips it into shapes we can barely imagine. Where the fabric bends deepest, time slows the most. That means every moment you've lived has moved at its own unique speed. Time hasn't been flowing evenly for you, not once in your entire life. On mountaintops, your time runs faster. In deep valleys, your time runs slower. When you fall in love, time speeds up then disappears. When you're grieving, it drags its feet, refusing to move. Physics calls this time dilation. Your heart just calls it living. But the universe has places where this bending becomes so extreme that time doesn't just slow, it nearly stops. Imagine you are drifting toward a black hole, the stars ahead of you sharp and bright, the universe behind you stretching into red, as though the moments you already lived are being pulled away. The closer you get, the slower your time becomes from the perspective of someone far away. To them you freeze right at the edge, a statue balanced between seconds. The light you reflect takes longer and longer to escape, until finally you fade into invisibility. But from your perspective, nothing strange happens. You keep floating, crossing the event horizon as casually as crossing the threshold of a door. Outside, your story has ended. Inside, your story continues. Two truths, equally real, equally valid, equally heartbreaking. Time doesn't break, it splits. The idea that time can flow differently for different observers is already strange enough. But what if there are places where time doesn't flow at all? Inside the singularity, deep within a black hole, space and time swap roles. There, moving forward through time becomes the same thing as falling deeper into space. You cannot stop, you cannot turn around. You are carried by time the way a leaf is carried by a waterfall. In that realm, the arrow of time isn't a choice, it is a fate. And yet, in its own dark, terrifying way, isn't that what life feels like? We can't stop ourselves from getting older. We can't reverse the moments we wish we could rewind. We fall forward in time every day without pause. Every heartbeat is another step toward whatever comes next. But the universe isn't cruel. It also gives us places where time becomes soft, flexible, almost playful. When two particles become entangled, they behave like a single object, even if separated by galaxies. Measure one, and the other reacts instantly. No travel, no delay, no waiting for light. The connection ignores distance, almost as if it ignores time. Einstein called it spooky action at a distance. Even he couldn't wrap his mind around it. Entanglement suggests that the universe doesn't store time in neat little boxes labeled past and future. Instead, it might store it woven together, threads of causality, tangled up in ways we are only starting to understand. When you remember someone you love, when you think of someone you've lost, when your heart aches for someone far away, maybe that feeling, that invisible connection, is a distant echo of how entanglement works, a tug across time, reminding you that distance is not as strong as bond. And then there's quantum tunneling, the ability for particles to pass through barriers that should be impossible to cross. When a particle tunnels, it cheats time. It arrives somewhere earlier than it should. Imagine walking into a wall and simply appearing on the other side because the universe quietly decided you belonged there. To us, that sounds like magic. To quantum mechanics, it's Tuesday. In that tiny trick is a whisper of a possibility. If particles can take shortcuts through space, maybe one day we will find shortcuts through time, not to escape our story, but to understand it more deeply. And maybe that's the heart of the mystery. We want time travel not to conquer physics or prove equations, but because there are moments we wish desperately we could hold again, people we wish we could touch one last time, words we wish we had spoken, goodbyes we wish we hadn't rushed. If time were a road with exits and side streets, we would wander, searching for the places where our hearts were fullest. But maybe the universe is protecting us. Maybe the reason time moves forward is so that memories can remain perfect, untouched by our clumsy attempts to rewrite them. Maybe the past stays behind because it deserves to, and the future stays ahead because we're not ready for it yet. Your life is a universe made of choices. Some you celebrate, some you carry gently, some you carry heavily. But you are moving always into new possibilities. You may not have a machine with flashing lights and silver wires, but you have something better. You have time and the ability to feel it. Every joy stretching seconds short, every ache stretching seconds long, every calm moment right now, all of it is proof that you are traveling. You are a time traveler wrapped in skin and starlight, and tonight, as sleep drifts closer and your thoughts soften into dreams, you are continuing your journey into tomorrow, tenderly, bravely, perfectly. There is a strange thought that physicists whisper when the lights are low and the equations begin to feel like spells. They say that the future might already be shaping the present, not metaphorically, not in the dreamy philosophical sense, but literally written into the universe's mathematics. Imagine that. Imagine that tomorrow is not simply something waiting for you to arrive, but something that has already curled its fingers around this moment, tugging it gently into place, as if the future is a vast ocean, and the present is a wave rising only because something ahead is pulling it upward. There are equations, real equations, that suggest the universe doesn't just evolve from the past, it is also guided by what must eventually happen. Cause and effect, yes, but also effect and cause whispering to each other across the timeline like old friends who know the whole story before the first sentence is read. If that is true, if the future already exists and already matters, then your life isn't just a single arrow fired from yesterday into tomorrow. It is more like a tapestry being woven from both directions, your past pushing you forward, your future inviting you in, and suddenly the idea of time travel feels less like a fantasy and more like a subtle truth that you've been living all along without realizing it. Because when something happens in your life and it feels meant to be, when a person enters your world at exactly the right moment, when a choice you make feels suspiciously guided, maybe that sensation isn't illusion. Maybe it's the quiet pull of the future saying, "This way, keep going, you're coming toward me." Time stops feeling like a road and starts feeling like a relationship. There are hints of this in quantum mechanics, where outcomes seem to influence the steps that led to them, where particles behave as if they already know how the story ends before they make their first move. Experiments where choices made after a particle has acted seem to rewrite the meaning of what it did before. It's confusing, dizzying, breathtaking, and yet somehow soothing, because if the future is woven into the present, then nothing you do is ever without guidance. You are not stumbling through an unknown darkness. You are walking a path that already exists, lit invisibly from both behind and ahead. In the middle of all this mystery lies a quiet truth. We feel time. We don't measure it with clocks. Not really. We measure it with our hearts. A painful moment stretches and stretches, refusing to pass, while a joyful moment feels like a spark in the darkness, brilliant but too brief. A single afternoon of laughter can vanish in what feels like seconds, while a night of loneliness can linger like an ocean that refuses to end. Physics calls it psychology, but maybe psychology is physics wearing soft clothes. Maybe consciousness doesn't simply endure time. Maybe it creates the experience of time. Maybe it is your awareness that slows the world down when you are afraid and speeds it up when you are in love. Maybe your mind is the clock and the universe is listening to its pace. When you think of someone you've lost, there is a moment, that heartbreak of remembering their voice, when the past doesn't feel gone at all. It rises, clear, whole, living inside you. And for that moment, grief becomes a kind of time travel, painful, yes, but proof that the past still exists inside you, untouched by decay. Your memories are small wormholes, little bridges between timelines that only you can cross. A smell, a song, a familiar street, and suddenly yesterday is alive again. Maybe that's why remembering can make your chest tighten. You are touching a time your body no longer belongs to. And dreams are even stranger, because in dreams time collapses. Seconds contain hours. People you've never met feel like old friends. Places you've never seen feel like home. The mind stops following the arrow of entropy and begins to wander, free from the rules that waking life demands. You could spend a lifetime in a single dream and wake to find only minutes have ticked by. You could see the future in a dream, or a possible version of your life that the waking world has not revealed yet. Perhaps dreams are the closest thing we currently have to time machines, not precise, not controllable, but deeply real, emotionally undeniable, and capable of carrying you somewhere that isn't now. What if the universe designed sleep as a safe place for time to loosen its grip, to let you drift backward and forward without consequence, to let your mind stretch into the shape of tomorrow long before you arrive there? There is also a strange thought that comes from thermodynamics and cosmology, the idea that the flow of time itself may have begun with the universe's first breath. At the Big Bang, entropy was impossibly low. The universe was a perfect seed of order waiting to bloom into chaos. That difference, that imbalance, is what gives us a direction. Every heartbeat you've ever felt is part of that expansion, a slow deepening of disorder that began at the creation of space itself. But this raises a question that sits like a quiet lantern in the dark. What came before the Big Bang? If time is tied to entropy, and entropy began at that first instant, then perhaps there was no before. Perhaps time was born right alongside the light, and anything earlier than that will forever lie outside the reach of our questions. And yet, some theories hint at cycles, universes expanding and collapsing, time starting and stopping, a heartbeat that belongs to the cosmos itself. If that is true, then maybe time does not end. It simply sleeps, waits, and begins again. Maybe the arrow of time one day folds back on itself, returning every future to its origin. In that kind of universe, time travel might not be a rebellion against nature. It might be nature's deepest instinct, a return, a loop, a cosmic breath. Maybe the end of time is just the beginning of another story. But before all those grand, unfathomable ideas, there is you, right here, right now, existing in a moment that has never happened before in the history of the universe and will never happen again. This second, the one you are living in, is a miracle of alignment. The entire cosmos had to unfold exactly as it did. Every star, every atom, every chance collision, just to bring you here, listening to these words, breathing in this quiet moment. Time did not simply carry you, it built you, atom by atom, heartbeat by heartbeat. And that means you are not just traveling through time, you are made of time. Every cell in your body holds the memory of billions of years. The iron in your blood was forged in dying stars. The hydrogen in your water is older than galaxies. You are a story the universe has been writing since the dawn of existence, and maybe, just maybe, you will continue long after this moment passes. Maybe the future version of you, the one sleeping peacefully, the one laughing years from now, the one holding someone they love, already exists out there and is grateful for every step you take to reach them. So let yourself breathe, let your shoulders soften, let your mind drift. You are traveling forward through time with incredible grace. Even when you feel stuck, even when life feels slow, even when the past feels heavier than the present can carry, every second is movement. Every heartbeat is progress. Every quiet moment like this one is the universe gently pushing you onward. Time is not something you chase. Time is something that flows with you. And sometimes it pauses just long enough to let you feel how far you've already come. There's a quiet truth that hides beneath the ticking of clocks. Every moment we live leaves a trace, not just in memory, not just in stories, but in the mathematics of the universe itself. Every breath you take alters the air around you. Every word spoken changes the arrangement of molecules. Every decision, every step, even the smallest shift in your thoughts sends ripples outward through time. We imagine that the past disappears behind us, swallowed by the darkness of gone. But physics has a different suggestion, bold and unsettling. It whispers that the past may not vanish at all, that it might still exist, layered beneath the present like deep roots beneath the earth, that every version of you from every day you've lived is still there, preserved in the structure of space-time. Imagine that right now you are sitting or lying in the exact location your childhood self once passed through. Not the same position in space, but the same line of time. That younger you, smiling, crying, discovering, growing, still sits on that point of the timeline, frozen forever in its own present, a perfect loop of who you once were. You are not separate from that version of yourself. You are simply further along the path. And if time is truly a dimension like space, then movement through it is not destruction, it is accumulation. You are carrying every version of you like pages in a book, not erased, but already written. When you remember something vividly, a warm afternoon, sunlight through leaves, laughter, perhaps it feels real because it is real. That moment is still happening somewhere along the grand axis of time, and if the past remains real, then so does the future, already written, already unfolding, already shimmering, just a little further down the road you're walking. This idea has another name, eternalism, the belief that all moments exist equally, and time is not a flow but a map. Your life is not moving, your awareness is. You are a traveler sliding through a universe where every moment is immortal. Birth and death, beginnings and endings, joy and sorrow, they are not states that appear and disappear. They are location, and you are passing through them like a train traveling from station to station, never destroying what lies behind, only leaving it gently in the distance. There is something incredibly comforting about that thought, isn't there? Nothing is truly lost. Nothing is truly gone. Even the people you miss, the ones whose voices you wish you could hear again, still exist in their moments, laughing the way they laughed, smiling the way they smiled, loving you in a way that still glows inside the structure of time. You cannot reach back to touch them, but that limitation belongs to motion, not existence. The universe has not forgotten them. The fabric of space-time still holds their imprint perfectly, delicately, lovingly. And maybe that is why love can feel like it breaks the rules of time. When you remember a person you've lost, really remember them, it can feel as if they are still here, as if the universe is allowing you just a tiny glimpse of that earlier station. Emotion is a kind of time travel. It takes your heart and stretches it backward. It lets the past breathe again. And the fact that we can feel that so clearly suggests something profound. Consciousness is not simply a passenger in time. It is a link between times. But let's drift into something even stranger. Physicists studying quantum entanglement have found that information in the universe appears to be perfectly conserved, never destroyed. When something happens, even something tiny, the universe keeps a record, not a diary written in ink, but a hidden imprint within quantum fields. When two particles interact, they become entangled, connected in such a way that even if they are separated by light years, measuring one instantly reveals information about the other. Einstein called this spooky action at a distance because it appeared impossible, as if the universe was cheating, whispering secrets faster than the speed of light. But what if this is not cheating, but remembering? Every interaction, every moment, bonds particles into a shared history. The world doesn't forget. Reality carries echoes of everything that has ever happened. Even the heat you release into the air right now is a signature, a physical message that spreads outward at the speed of light. That moment will never be erased. It transforms, it diffuses, but it remains part of the universal record. Millions of years from now, the warmth of your body, this precise moment, will still be drifting among the stars, subtle but indelible. And this leads to a question that curls like mist. If nothing is lost, then what exactly is memory? Is it a function of the brain? Or is the brain simply tuning into the part of space-time where that moment happened? When you remember something so strongly that your chest aches, that sharp, electric tug, what if that is because the moment is truly still there, and your mind has brushed against it again? A contact, a reunion between different versions of you. And what if déjà vu is not confusion, but recognition? a future moment crossing streams with the present, whispering, "We've been here before," even though you have not yet. Perhaps the timeline is not a straight road but a braid, strands touching, looping, brushing against each other in ways our awareness only half understands. There is a deep tenderness in the idea that time might not separate us, but connect us, that every future version of you, every hope you have for your life, already exists and is quietly pulling you toward them. The days you have not lived yet might already be real. The laughter you haven't laughed yet may already echo somewhere in space-time. The person you may fall in love with could be out there right now, already loving you in their moment, already waiting at a point that you will eventually reach. And what about you, years from now, older, wiser, at peace, that you might be looking backward right now, grateful for the courage you're showing in this exact moment, grateful for every day you keep going, grateful for the nights like this one when you allowed yourself to rest, to breathe, to trust that time is taking you somewhere meaningful. Maybe that version of you is already saying, "Thank you for not giving up. Thank you for walking toward me." If that's true, then time travel isn't a machine or a wormhole or a paradox waiting to break the universe. Time travel is already happening through memory, hope, emotion, and existence itself. You travel to the past every time you remember. You travel to the future every time you dream. You are a wanderer of timelines simply by being alive. So let your body soften. Let your thoughts float gently and feel the strange, beautiful truth. Every second of your life is part of a continuous story, one that the universe is still unfolding, one where every moment you have ever lived remains safe, where every tomorrow is already shaping the path beneath your feet. And still, there are deeper mysteries waiting, stranger places time can bend, more daring ways the rules might be broken, if the universe chooses to allow it. For now, breathe slowly. The journey continues from here. There is a boundary in the universe where our familiar rules quietly fail, a place where time slows, stretches, hesitates, and if you step even closer, it stops altogether. No clocks tick there, no seconds fall forward. The future and the past lose their meaning and melt into a single silent moment. That boundary is the event horizon of a black hole, one of the most mysterious doors in the cosmos. And if time travel is real anywhere, it is real there. Black holes are not just heavy objects. They are places where gravity becomes deep enough to sculpt time itself. The stronger gravity is, the slower time flows, and a black hole has gravity so strong that time at its edge almost freezes. You could orbit near one for an hour, and by the time you return, thousands of years could have passed in the outside universe. You would have traveled into the future simply by going close to something that bends space and time so sharply that the universe can no longer keep up. This isn't science fiction. This is Einstein's general relativity, tested and confirmed again and again. So imagine this: a small spaceship drifting peacefully along the outer ring of a black hole, light stretching into long red threads around you, your heartbeat slow, your body weightless, while far away Earth spins forward through centuries. Civilizations rise and fall, entire generations live and die, empires transform into ruins, and yet, when you finally return, you are still here, barely older than when you left. You didn't move through time any differently than you always do. Time itself moved differently around you. You became a traveler into the future simply by choosing another curve of space-time, and that is only the beginning. because inside a black hole, if such a word even applies, something deeper waits. Gravity becomes so unimaginably strong that space and time may switch roles. Time becomes a direction you are pulled toward, whether you wish to go or not. The future becomes singular, a single unavoidable point, and what lies there is a mystery no physics has yet solved. Some theories go as far as whispering that black holes could be tunnels, wormholes, shortcuts connecting distant regions of the universe or even distant regions of time. It sounds impossible, unreal, and yet the equations allow it. Perhaps the universe has built secret bridges, hidden doorways, folded maps of reality where time itself loops around. Perhaps that's why black holes guard their secrets so fiercely, because what they hold is the possibility of escape not only across space, but across eras. But black holes are not the only places where time behaves strangely. Consider speed. If gravity bends time, motion stretches it. Right now, as you lie still, time flows normally. But imagine riding a spacecraft traveling near the speed of light. Your pulse would slow relative to the rest of the universe. Your thoughts, your breath, your experience of life, everything would feel normal from the inside. But to anyone watching from afar, you would be drifting through time like a leaf carried by a slower wind. Months for you could be decades for everyone else. A year for you could be centuries for the world you left behind. You could leave home at 18 and return at 25, only to find the Earth 300 years older. History passed by while you remained young. The faster you move, the deeper you fall into the future. In that sense, time travel isn't theoretical, it is already happening. Astronauts orbiting Earth experience time just a tiny bit slower than we do down here. Their clocks measurably lag behind ours when they return. It's a difference of microseconds, but it proves the principle: the universe allows time to stretch, to twist, to lose sync with itself. If a microsecond is possible, why not a lifetime? The only barrier is technology, not physics. So perhaps one day, when humanity builds ships that fly faster than stars drift, people will travel into the future, not by imagining it, but by physically moving through a different flow of time. When they return, our history will be their legend. Yet even in all these stunning possibilities, the past remains shaded by rules that resist our curiosity. Nature seems to permit forward travel easily, but traveling back is where logic cracks. The universe fears paradoxes, stories that cannot coexist. Imagine this: you go back in time and prevent your own birth. Who then traveled back to prevent it? A loop, a contradiction, a wound in logic. Physicists call this the grandfather paradox. It suggests that changing the past breaks the logic the universe is built on, and so the universe may not allow it at all. But then, some scientists propose a softer idea. What if you can go back, but you can't change anything? A theory called the Novikov self-consistency principle says that any attempt to alter the past will simply fold itself into the past that already exists. You can travel there, but you are already part of what happened. Your actions were always meant to occur. You cannot break time, because you are part of time's structure. Your choices remain free, but the universe remains whole. This idea may sound restrictive, but it carries a quiet beauty. It means that fate is not a prison. It is a story written perfectly, without contradictions. It means that even if you could walk through yesterday, you would find yourself exactly where you were always meant to be. And there is another strange solution, one that sidesteps paradox entirely. Some theories say that changing the past doesn't rewrite our present, it creates a new timeline, a separate branch, a new universe where your new choices become real. You go back and prevent your own birth, then you continue in the new timeline, but the original timeline remains untouched. Nothing is erased, only multiplied. Perhaps the universe does not fear paradox, perhaps it simply responds with abundance. And still, for all these dreams of rockets and wormholes and bending physics, the deepest form of time travel might not require leaving your pillow. Memory, after all, is a portal. Emotion is a vehicle. Love is a thread that ties moments together across years. When you miss someone, when you long for a moment you lived long ago, that ache inside you is proof that the past is not dead. It still owns part of you. It still breathes in your heart. One day, future you will look back to this exact night, to this quiet, peaceful moment, and feel the warmth of the memory press into your chest like a hand. That future moment, that feeling is already waiting ahead of you, already real, already part of your story. The past holds us, the future calls us, and the present is where they meet, soft, quiet, and alive. Close your eyes now, and let your thoughts fall gently through space and time. We are not done yet. There are still deeper mysteries ahead, places where physics blurs into philosophy, and where the nature of time reveals not what it is, but what it means. There is a thought, soft and daring, that sits at the edge of physics and philosophy, that maybe time is not just something we pass through. Maybe time is something that knows us. What if the universe isn't merely cold equations and indifferent laws, but a story that becomes aware of itself through the eyes that witness it? When you look back at your memories, when you yearn for the days that shaped you, you are reaching into the fabric of time, and perhaps time is reaching back. Perhaps every moment of awareness is not just you experiencing the universe, but the universe experiencing you, because what is consciousness, if not a kind of gentle disruption, a place where reality pauses to notice itself? Think about this. Billions of years passed before you were born. Stars lived and died. Galaxies spun like glowing wheels. Planets formed. Oceans boiled. Atoms learned to dance in patterns that eventually became life. Time existed without watching. Time existed without meaning. And then, somewhere along the timeline, your awareness arrived. Suddenly, time had a witness. Suddenly, the universe had a mirror. Suddenly, experience existed. The past was no longer just events. It became memory. The future was no longer just possibility. It became hope. You give time its shape. You give time its emotion. You give time its purpose. So when scientists say that time is relative, measured differently by different observers, maybe that idea stretches deeper than even Einstein imagined. Maybe you are not just moving through time. Maybe your presence defines the flow of it. When you fall asleep, hours can disappear in a blink. When you are afraid, seconds stretch like elastic bands. When you are in love, a moment feels like a lifetime, and a lifetime feels like a moment. Physics says this is psychology, but what if psychology is physics seen from the inside? What if your heart is the most accurate clock you will ever own? What if time bends, not because of gravity, but because of meaning? There is something else that makes time so strange. Memory doesn't behave like time does. It doesn't march forward in a line. It loops. It jumps. It collapses distances between years in a single heartbeat. One moment you are here, breathing quietly in the dark, and the next, your mind drags you into a summer long ago. Sunlight warm on your skin, laughter echoing around you. The past comes alive, not as a ghost, but as a place you can feel again, and then it slips away, like a dream collapsing at sunrise. Memory is time travel that doesn't ask anyone's permission. It moves through time the way birds move through air, freely, effortlessly, guided by nothing more than instinct. And sometimes those memories feel too real to just be imagination. Sometimes they hit you so suddenly that your whole body responds, goosebumps on your skin, tears welling in your eyes, joy or sorrow swelling in your chest. In those moments, the past isn't a concept, it is a presence. It is visiting you. And then there is that other experience, the quiet, trembling déjà vu, the sensation that this exact moment has already been lived, the same view, the same thoughts, the same breath. Science says it is the brain misfiring, but your heart knows it is something more. It feels like you are touching another version of yourself, a shadow of a path you might have walked in another timeline, as if time is not a single straight line, but a river with many branching currents, and sometimes two currents draw close enough to whisper through the thin veil that separates them. If that is true, if reality is branching and looping, if the future is not fixed but layered, then somewhere out there is a version of you who never made that one mistake you regret. Somewhere is a version of you who said yes instead of no, who held on instead of letting go, who turned left instead of right. Somewhere is a version of you who is already living a future you still dream about. And maybe, every now and then, your timelines brush close enough for you to feel each other breathing. Perhaps the universe doesn't erase possibilities. Perhaps it writes all of them, and lets consciousness choose which one to walk through. There is a beautiful idea in physics called the holographic principle, the suggestion that everything we see, everything we live, everything we are, might be a projection of deeper information stored at the edges of reality. If that is true, then maybe time is not contained in the ticking of minutes, but in the way information is arranged. Maybe the past is not gone. It is simply stored elsewhere, encoded into the cosmic archive. Think of a photograph. The moment it captures is over, long gone, but the image remains. What if the universe is full of such photographs, perfect snapshots of every moment, every gesture, every word ever spoken? What if the cosmos has been collecting memories since the very beginning? Then time isn't running away from us. It's collecting us. Every experience we have becomes part of that archive. Nothing is lost. Nothing is wasted. Every second of your life becomes something that the universe keeps. And if all those moments still exist, then they might be reachable, not with machines made of metal and flame, but with perception, with understanding, with consciousness evolving into something that can move freely across its own history. The boundary between past and future might be nothing more than a limitation of our current brains, a temporary form of blindness that evolution has not yet cured. Maybe time travel isn't impossible. Maybe humanity is simply not ready, not yet. But someday, someone like you might close their eyes and step into yesterday as easily as stepping into a dream. There is one more layer to this mystery, one that feels almost spiritual, but is rooted in physics. Entropy, the rule that shapes time's forward direction, demands that things spread out, cool down. But life does something fascinating. It resists decay. It pulls order out of chaos. Your body takes random atoms and organizes them into cells, tissues, thoughts. Your very existence is a rebellion against time's flow, a temporary sanctuary of structure in a universe that wants everything to fall apart. And yet this rebellion is not a mistake. It is part of time's story, because entropy is not just about decay. It is about transformation. Stars collapse to create heavier elements. Hearts break to make room for new love. Endings create beginnings. Even death feeds the birth of something new. Time is not tearing things apart. It is weaving change. So when you worry that life is slipping through your fingers too quickly, when days blur and months vanish and years tear past you like wind, remember this. You are not losing time, you are shaping it. Every moment that becomes memory is not gone, it is completed. It becomes part of who you are. You are building a history that will one day give meaning to your future. You are enriching time with emotion, and time is enriching you with experience. You are not a passenger in time's current. You are the reason the current flows at all. The universe is not dragging you forward. The universe is following your footsteps. We are nearing the deepest part of this journey, where questions stop sounding like questions and start sounding like the heartbeat of existence, where science and soul begin to overlap, where time stops being a number and becomes a companion. There is something wonderfully human about wondering if we can go back, not because we want to break physics, but because sometimes our hearts ache for the moments we are no longer able to touch, a conversation we wish we could repeat, a goodbye we wish had lasted longer, a version of ourselves we wish we could meet again, the one who still believed, the one who still hoped, the one who still hadn't learned the harder lessons. Time travel isn't just curiosity. It's longing, it's love reaching backward, it's our desire to hold on to everything that mattered for just a little longer. And physics, surprisingly, does not laugh at that longing. It considers it carefully, boldly. There are theories that suggest time might not be a cage locked behind us, but a door that humanity hasn't learned how to open yet. Some scientists believe that closed time-like curves, loops in space-time, might exist inside rotating black holes, or in regions where the universe curls into itself. These loops could allow someone traveling inside them to return to a point they've already lived. It would not be breaking the timeline, it would be stepping onto a circular one. And then there are wormholes, hypothetical tunnels folded through space-time, connecting distant points not just in space, but maybe also in time. If they exist, and if they could be stabilized, they might become the first real machines for stepping backward. You could enter one side tomorrow and exit on the other side yesterday. A round-trip ticket into another moment, a chance to revisit something you thought was forever gone. But wormholes demand something we don't yet know how to provide: negative energy, a kind of anti-gravity, a strange substance that repels instead of pulling. The universe might create it in tiny flickers, but collecting enough to build a bridge through time would be one of the most difficult challenges we've ever faced. And if humanity ever succeeds, if someone steps through such a doorway, what then? Would they find a past identical to how it once was? Or would stepping through change the shape of history as gently as wind reshapes sand on a beach? Even quantum physics entertains the possibility. There are ideas called retrocausal models where particles seem to be influenced by events that have not happened yet, effects gently whispering to their causes. Under that view, time isn't a straight arrow. It's a conversation. The past speaks to the future, and the future answers back. Maybe traveling backward through time isn't about forcing reality to obey. Maybe it's about learning how to listen. But even if time allowed us that power, even if we built a machine that could carry us into the past, there is something else we must consider, something quieter, deeper, almost unbearably tender. The past shaped you. Every mistake you regret, every hurt you survived, every joy you were lucky enough to feel. You are not who you are despite those moments. You are who you are because of them. If you could go back and change things, truly rewrite the past, would you still be you? Would you erase the heartbreak that taught you compassion? Would you remove the failures that taught you strength? Would you take away the nights when you felt lost, not realizing those nights helped you find yourself? We long for the past because we love it. But sometimes, love means letting something remain exactly where it belongs. There is a reason memories are beautiful and painful at the same time. They remind us that we are travelers, and every stop along the way matters. Time's magic is not that it flows, but that it moves us, it changes us, it gives meaning to the journey. If we never had to say goodbye, if nothing ever slipped into yesterday, would we ever know the value of a moment while it was happening? Maybe time protects us, maybe time teaches us, maybe time holds us exactly long enough, and then gently sets us free. So can we travel back? Physics says, maybe. Mathematically, possibly. Technologically, someday. Emotionally, we already do. Every time you miss someone, your heart walks backward. Every time you replay a laugh in your mind, you step through a doorway. Every time you whisper, "I wish I could go back," a part of you already has. The past might be sealed to your body, but your mind still knows the way. Your soul still remembers the path. And that means that even if the universe never grants us a physical machine, we are not trapped. We are not cut off from what we've loved. We carry time within us. You are made of every second you have lived. You are the child you once were. You are the adult you are becoming. You are the dreamer who still hopes for something beautiful ahead. Time isn't a wall. It's a tapestry. You are woven into it, and nothing that becomes part of you can ever be truly lost. So as you lie here tonight, breathing slowly, feeling safe in this quiet moment, remember this: you are not falling through time, you are rising through it. Every heartbeat, every sleep, every sunrise carries you deeper into a future that already exists, waiting patiently for you to arrive. And one day, far, far from now, you may look back on tonight with a warm smile and think, that was the moment I understood. Time was never my enemy. Time was always my companion. The universe has been traveling for 13.8 billion years to bring you to this moment, and now it will travel the rest of eternity with you. Close your eyes. Feel the weight of your body sink softly into the mattress. Feel the air enter your lungs like a promise. Let the present hold you gently. Let the future guide you quietly. Let the past rest peacefully. Time is here. Time is kind. Time is yours. Good night, traveler. Sleep well. The adventure continues in the morning.